I could do a yo-yo sitting down. I want to say welcome to the beautiful world of aquascaping, but that's another guy. Hi everyone, and welcome to the GFS gallery. Excited to bring you another video. This one is going to be all about this Aquascaper 600 from Evolution Aqua. I don't think I've done an update video on it yet since I set it up. I'll leave the link up there and in the description on how we set it up. Lots of changes to tell you about, some really exciting ones, some new species of plants which I've never used before. A couple of minor equipment tweaks as well, which we'll talk about. And yeah, just an overall update video, some cinematic footage for you at the end for you to enjoy. And please give me a thumbs up if you do enjoy the content and leave me a comment below. I'll ask you a question right at the end. Some of you probably know what the question is going to be already. I want to talk to you about lighting. This is the TwinStar 600S. No secret that TwinStar support my channel. Recommend it to most people. Real good kind of price versus performance ratio. This is the 600S. The 600E isn't so powerful. And I've actually dimmed it down. So I was running this on 100%. For 8 hours, and I was getting algae issues. I was getting staghorn algae, especially on the crypts and the ferns, and I think the lighting was too much. There wasn't enough fast plant growth to deal with the algae. So I did a few things. I lowered the intensity using a special dimmer, which I'll show you in a minute, from 100% to 50%. I also lowered the photo period from 8 hours to 6 hours. I upped the CO2, so I actually got quite a lot of CO2 going in there now, but it's absolutely no problem. The shrimp are breeding and they're active, so I know for a fact that the CO2 level isn't too high. And then I removed the Cyperus helleferi, which is quite a slow growing plant, not particularly great for fighting off algae. It does tend to struggle to adapt from its emerged growth, which is out of water, so its submerged growth, which is underwater. It tends to really struggle for this adaptation, and it is prone to algae. This, combined with its slow growing nature, isn't ideal for a new setup. What I did was remove the Cyperus and replace that with 4 brand new stem plants, which I've never grown before. So these are actually from ADA, the tissue culture plants. I bought these myself from my local aquascaping store, Aquarium Gardens. So the 4 species are, and I'll leave a note on the bottom of the screen for you. Rotala macrandra Bangladesh, Rotala Ceylon, Rotala Wayanad, and Ludwigula incarnata variation verticillata pantanella. Very interested to know if any of you guys have got experience with these stem plants. 3 of them look really similar. The inclinata Ludwigia looks like a very fine version of arcuata, but the other 3 rotalas, the green rotalas, look to me quite similar to Rotala green, so really excited to see how these turn out. Let's talk about the aquarium now. This is an Aquascaper 600 by Evolution Aqua. It measures 60 centimetres or 24 inches left to right, 50 centimetres or 20 inches front to back, and 36 centimetres tall or 14 inches. Super low iron glass, and it's rimless, and the whole effect is to hopefully create this illusion of a floating column of water. This is why we have also the glassware. This is Aquascaper glass pipework set. Interestingly, I'm using 12mm set on a 16mm hose, and I've just slipped over some 12mm hose over the 12mm glassware, and then the 16mm hose slips over that 12mm hose. Hopefully that makes sense. I'll get a close-up of that for you to explain it in more detail. And the idea behind this is that the 12mm glassware is just so much more discreet. It doesn't seem to have much difference in the circulation either. CO2 wise, I'm running the Aqua Neo diffuser. Fantastic in-tank diffusers, my favourites out there. And I'm running it quite high. I'm probably running at 2 bubbles a second right now. But I am running very high levels of surface agitation, got quite a powerful filter. We'll talk about more about the filtration in a moment. And the reason I wanted to run high CO2 was to hopefully give the plants the edge over the algae. If we can give the plants more of what they like, you know, more carbon dioxide, more nutrients, good soil, etc., then they can go really robust and hopefully fight off the algae. Now you need to balance this with the lighting. Now, I did explain I had some algae trouble to start with, and I think it was this imbalance, too much light and not enough CO2. So I've actually reversed it, less light and more CO2, and it seems to be doing the trick. You can see I'm using the 12mm glass inlet with the surface skimming portion here. Here I've got some Salvinia auriculata floating plants. Just like to use this in most of my aquariums these days. So the water gets sucked through this surface skimming area here, and then also under the water we have got a submerged section with the regular kind of filter inlet, and I'll show you that right now. So here you can see the glass inlet here. There's actually a knurled portion here which you can twist, and this balances the suction through this inlet strainer here with the surface skimming. So you adjust it to get the right balance so it's not skimming too much or too little, and also sucking through the strainer appropriately. Let's take a look inside the cabinet. So we've got the Biomaster 350 thermo filter here by Awase. Big fan of these filters, use them on all my aquariums now. Quick release pre-filter here. Heater fitted behind. Really love the way the heat is removed from the Aquascape so we don't see it, and the quick release mechanical pre-filter is just really great for keeping the filter really clean without having to dismantle it any further. You can also get different grades of the pre-filter material now, so you have a coarse, a fine, a regular, and also a carbon pre-filter. Moving over to the CO2 kit, I have a CO2 Art. I think this is one of their pro regulators, one of their more expensive ones, kindly supplied by the guys at CO2 Art, with a solenoid. I actually have the CO2 go on really early. It comes on I think at 9 AM, maybe even earlier, 8 AM in the morning, and then my light doesn't come on until 4 PM, so 6 hours of build up. And the reason for that is I get quite a lot of natural light through the skylights, which are just positioned over there. And I've got big conservatory doors as well, so loads of natural light coming in, and I just wanted to make sure those plants were using that CO2 really early in the morning. As soon as there's light pretty much in the aquarium, natural daylight, the plants can use that with the CO2. Fire extinguisher, 2 kilo fire extinguisher there, and here is the light controller I was talking about. So this is like a digital controller for the Twin Star. It is a third-party device. I think Aquarium Gardens sell them. They are kind of Twin Star approved, and you can set the timing on there, ramping up from 0 to 100%. You can set it to ramp up and down to create like a gradual increase and decrease of light, which is great for the fish. And you can have it incrementally as well, so you can have it running on 50% or 10% or whichever percentage of light you want. So I've got mine running on 50% at the moment for 6 hours. I wanted to talk to you about circulation. So I do get some feedback about why the filter outlets and inlets are near the front of the aquarium. So if you imagined I put the filter outlet all the way to the back, and then once the stem plants have grown up to the surface, which is kind of what you want eventually, the water movement is going to be blocked by those stem plants and you're not going to get good all-round circulation. So I tend to put the filter outlet at an area where it's going to get maximum velocity through the aquarium. So that tends to be at the front of the aquarium where you've got shorter plants, normally less hardscape. You know, for obvious reasons, you're going to be viewing into the Aquascape. And so for that reason as well, I put the CO2 in-tank diffuser here, and then the idea is the water comes out of here at quite high velocity. We're using quite a powerful filter, comes out of here quite quickly, and then the water movement, by the time it hits here, it's travelling quite quickly. It picks up these micro bubbles. Hopefully they get all the way around the aquarium, and you can probably see that not many of these bubbles are hitting the surface, and this is a good indication that you've got ideal circulation levels. I've got the filter inlet here in the back left. I'd normally actually have it more towards the outlet to create an all-round circulation, but I just kind of wanted to hide it a little bit, and I think it works okay there. And actually once the stem plants are grown, you're really not going to notice this inlet hardly at all. So hopefully that answers some of your questions. Some of you might be wondering, why has he got this ugly glass thing at the front of the tank? Why doesn't he hide it at the back? Hopefully that answers your question. Let's talk about plants. So we've got Cryptocoryne parva here in the foreground, growing really slowly. I've actually added a few new ones fairly recently just to kind of pack it out a bit more. Behind that we've got Cryptocoryne albida brown. This is like the thin brown leaf, beautiful. And then there's a Cryptocoryne red, which I've never actually grown before. This is from Sungrow, which is a new plant supplier that I've never used before. We've got Bucophalandra red attached to the wooden rocks, Anubias petite, and then I'll move over to the other part of the scape and you can see some more plants. Good old Java fern here. This is actually Microsorum narrow, so a narrow leaf version. Some more Anubias petite underneath that, Bucophalandra red. And then a mix of crypts, the Parva, the Albedo brown, and then I think it's Willisii, and then Undulatus red. And then behind everything we've got some stem plants, and then we've got some beautiful moss which I want to talk about. So here we have some beautiful moss. This is actually donated to me by Dave from Aquarium Gardens, and we think this is called mini Christmas moss. Quite rare in the UK, so it's a beautiful form. Really like this, and yeah, you can see why it's called Christmas. It's got a little kind of Christmas tree effect growth. So now you can see the stem plants at the back. What I'm going to do now is turn the filter off because that surface movement is disturbing the image. And there we have it, those 4 species that I mentioned earlier. Tyler Macandra Bangladesh, and then I'm not sure, I've got 3 green species in there, and they all look really similar, don't they? And to be honest with you, I can't remember which one's which. I don't know if you guys can help me out. So starting from the left, I think that might be Rotala Ceylon, and then definitely the kind of one that's starting to go red, that's definitely the Inclinata verticillata pantanella. And then I think it might be the Macandra Bangladesh, followed by the Wayanad on the right, but I'm not certain. Really nice to get some bushy effect. I'm not really a big user of stem plants, so really different now for me to use such a large variety of stems in a relatively small aquarium. So let's see how they turn out. I think they'll add a really nice background effect, some nice colour and texture. I think the whole scape looks really quite colourful and high impact. I really like it. Hardscape wise, we've got Frodo Stone here from my good friend Adam Pasquella. Check out his playlists from my visit to his place. And we've got, I think it's giant Redmore roots. So this was from years ago. I actually had it in my discus aquarium originally. So soil, we've got Tropica powder soil, so it's nutrient rich, buffers the water around about pH 6.5, high cation exchange capacity, which means it takes the nutrients from the water, locks it into the soil, makes those nutrients available to the plant roots. Really love this whole system. The Aquascaper 600 is one of my favourite aquariums of all time. I love the dimensions, you know, 2 foot by almost 2 foot front to back, or 20 inches by 24 inches, or 60 centimetres by 50 centimetres, depending on your chosen language of measurement. You know, just this size, it's not too expensive to buy or set up, and doesn't take too long to maintain, yet you can still get a really nice variety of plants and livestock for it. Okay guys, I'm going to sign off there before I go into some cinematic footage for you. But before I go, today, in fact, whilst I was filming, I reached 70,000 subscribers. So I just want to thank everyone that's watching this that is a subscriber, whether you're new or old. You know, this channel is all about hopefully inspiring and educating you guys all about aquascaping and making the world a nicer place through aquascapes, because I really do honestly believe they enrich people's lives. So thank you for being part of that journey. And I think it's only just started. I can't wait to get loads more content for you this year. And on that note, I'm actually traveling soon. So off to Denmark tomorrow for a few days. Going to be doing some filming for Tropica. I'm going to the USA soon. So starting off in Orlando for the global trade show. Going to be part of the Arwaze team there. Going to scape a tank for them there. And then I'm going to fly down to Houston, Texas to see the guys down at Aquarium Design Group. I'll try and get some dates for you as well, put them on my community page so you can see where I'm going to be at and what dates if you are interested in potentially meeting up. And then from Houston over to Aquashella in Dallas, and I'm actually doing a scape off with Joey, King of DIY, so that's something to look forward to as well. Excited about that one. Okay guys, so thanks so much for watching. If you did enjoy the content, give us a thumbs up, drop me a comment. How long have you been subscribing for, if you are a subscriber? Always interested to know whether you're a brand new subscriber or you've been subscribed since 2006, which is when I first started the channel, believe it or not. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you giving up your time to watch my content. You take care. Keep on scaping. Cheerio.